Yo, good evening, good people. Y'all know what time it is, baby. It's AA Sports, straight sports, no chaser. And you have the super team of sports talk here with y'all on one half of it, Diego Barishnikov, the Black Dominican Russian. As always, I'm checking in with my partner in crime, my main man. They call him the 6'0" post-up champ. Introduce these people. Introduce yourself to these people.
What's good, good people? It's your boy Uncle Hate, the other A and AA Sports, broadcasting live here on a Wednesday. Dog days of summer. It got hot as hell again in Georgia. What's good?
Oh, man, I can't call it. Everything is good. People, we appreciate y'all tuning in. This is episode 182. Every week, if y'all tune in to us, either on the podcast platform, Apple, iTunes, or via the Spreaker Network, we appreciate that. Also, if you'd like to watch on the YouTube channel, continue to do that as well. Make sure you share the content, whichever platform you decide to choose, and leave us some comments and things as well. We appreciate that feedback. As always, y'all know how we started off, but just a little preview for tonight. We're doing the NFC North division, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, and those sorry-ass Detroit Lions. We'll be touching on, of course, the latest in the AB saga and the AB news, other news and notes that we'll get to toward the end of the show as well. But again, it's time for open bar segment, something like the news. Uncle Hate, what you got for us this week in crazy ass stories? It's getting, like you said, it's dog days of summer. It's hot, and I know people are acting ignorant.
Yeah. Good way to lose your job. A district manager for Wendy's in Massachusetts, a city called Wareham, got a complaint via email. He emails the resident, well, not the resident, that's who I deal with. He emails the customer back and tells him, you know, we've tried to staff these properties correctly. I mean, damn, I keep talking about my job. We try to staff these stores correctly. Everybody we interview, it's just not working out because that area is full of recovering addicts and no one's up to snuff. He put this in email form. So wow. You know what the person did. He put it on Twitter.
Did Wendy's respond to that?
Oh, absolutely. I thought they were going to fire him, but they just suspended him. But I didn't see if they actually, their Twitter account, because Wendy's Twitter is lit, people. If y'all didn't know, whoever's running Wendy's Twitter is real lit. But, yeah, that's a good way to lose your job. A flight attendant by the name of Julianne March, she worked for Air Wisconsin. She got fired as well. She was 5 times over the legal limit on a flight. 5 times.
That's that super DUI.
Yes, legal limit is 0.04. She was 0.204. She was really drunk.
So is she the pilot?
No, she's a flight attendant.
Oh, so they hold them to the. I mean, I know.
They got to do the safety rules and show the people where to go and all that. They said they tried to get her to do the safety thing. They called like 5-6 times from the cockpit. She wasn't answering. They finally got somebody else, another one of the attendants to do it. This chick was back there passed out sleep. Said one of the other people on the airline on the flight saw her. They went ahead and buckled her seatbelt. She wasn't even secure. But, yeah, that was drunk. Dog days of summer. Another, Aaron Spalding's 39 years old. He was already locked up for domestic violence for punching his girlfriend. They put another charge on him because he had actually tried to kill her cat, was squeezing it until it almost died, and he also forced methamphetamine down the cat's throat. Why do people keep giving animals drugs?
Especially meth.
I don't get it.
No. I'm not going to say that, incriminate myself. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is why. That makes no sense. This is dumbass of the week. Derek Vanderloom, 34 years old, is a sheriff in South Carolina. He got caught up in a sting operation that was run by his own damn department for child porn and trying to hook up with a 15-year-old child. So he works for the department. was talking to one of his coworkers via email who was acting like a 15-year-old child, setting up an arrangement to have sex. They go pick his dumb ass up in a squad car and lock him up.
As they should.
As they should. If you leave that alone. Last story of the night. Larry Adams, 61 years old of Florida. Larry's in his house and he hears loud music coming from a car outside. Larry decides to go outside and approach said car. Larry goes outside with some nunchucks and some roach spray.
Nunchucks and roach spray?
Yes. He's swinging the nunchucks, threatens the people, telling them to turn the music down, hits the hood of the car with the nunchuck. It pops back up, catches him in the face.
Hell no. Did the person get out of the car and whoop his ass?
Nah, they were too busy laughing at him. Then but he did spray him with roach spray. He did do that.
Ass whooping.
Would you even try to fight him, dude? If he hit himself with his own nunchuck?
I'm going to have to whoop his ass. You hit my hood of my car with goddamn nunchucks. If they were real nunchucks, that's going to leave a mark. I'm going to have to whoop your ass.
Oh, this is the last one for me and you. Do you know that Atlanta came in a recent survey as one of the top 5 overworked cities in the United States?
No, I didn't see that.
Washington, D.C., Houston, us, Seattle, and Chicago.
I wonder what they gauged that by.
Yeah, them surveys they could talk to 20 people. But I thought this was fascinating. I saw it on CNN. I was like, shit, I am overworked. I need to take a vacation.
Right. Atlanta always seem to be at the top of these lists, not in a good way.
Right.
We're at the top of that one, overworked. We're at the top of the worst traffic commuting to and from work. I think we're at the we're not the very top because LA got us beat. But we probably
top 5 though.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. Again, people, we are full.
Yeah.
We are full. And please stop moving here and complaining because we didn't invite you.
Nope. 285 sucked before, but it's really bad now. All right, you ready to go to work?
Yes, sir, Uncle. Hey, we appreciate that, man. Good stories, good funny stories. But let's get to work, man. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Again, NFC North Division. This is the black. Did they call this the black? I always get it mixed up. Is this the black and blue division, or is that the AFC?
Black and blue.
Okay, that's what I thought. Last year, the Chicago Bears went 12-4. They got eliminated in they didn't win their first round playoff game, did they?
That kicker jerked them. That's
right. They lost off on the kick. Minnesota Vikings went 8-7-1, missed the playoffs. Green Bay Packers 6-9-1. Of course, they missed the playoffs, and then the Detroit Lions 6-10, bringing up the rear. I guess we'll start with the Bears again. 12-4 last year. This year, of course, we expect the defense to do what they do.
Right.
Khalil, those boys. But like a lot of teams, I think it's going to be in the hands of the quarterback, depending on how far they go. Now, I've been hearing Mitch Trubisky taking the next step and being an MVP consideration, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going that far. But I will say he did better than I thought he would do last year. But I'm still not ready to anoint him anybody that's ready to carry a team to championship level.
Absolutely not. If I'm not mistaken, he only started 1 year, right, at North Carolina.
Right.
So, I mean, they shouldn't have expected him to come in and set the world on fire. I mean, this is kind of status quo at this point. You drafting off potential. He's an athlete, so you're going to get what you can out of, him running the ball as well. But this is his second or third year.
This is Trubisky's third year?
Okay, so shit gets real now. Because, yes, right, because he was under John Fox that first year, so that's kind of a mulligan. You brought Matt Nagy in last year, an offensive coach. Y'all went 12-4 last year, but hell, the offense was only 21st. Defense was top 3. You got to bring up your end this year. I think this will be the first year of legit expectations. They didn't get Khalil Mack till right before the season last year, so I don't believe anybody expected this. But if that offense can catch up with this defense, there's no place they can't go. How do you feel about his weapons on the outside? They got Taylor Gabriel. Allen Robinson was okay. They signed that tight end from Philly. But, I guess they're going to run the ball. Allen Robinson, this will be his second year off of that knee, so he should be better this year. He should be. But he has to get him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, last year, Rob Robinson had, 55 balls off, 94 targets for 754 yards, only 4 touchdowns. You need a lot more than that out of your number one receiver.
Right.
But he does not throw the ball to himself.
Right.
So Jordan Howard is gone. Now, I'm trying to remember who they brought in as another, I guess, power back. Because we know Tariq Cohen's there. I think they drafted another little shifty kind of quick guy.
They drafted David Montgomery, but they signed Mike Davis. It seems like Mike Davis been around forever. But
Mike Davis from Seattle?
Yeah, wasn't he with y'all for a minute too?
If that's the Mike Davis from South Carolina, yeah, he was with us like a year, maybe 2.
Yeah, it's the same dude.
Okay. So he's a journeyman, looks like so far.
Yeah. I'm not buying that whole – I like – Tariq Cohen had a solid year for him, 170 touches and 8 touchdowns, but I don't think he's going to be catching anybody by surprise this year.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago, honestly, I think they're going to be more of the same. Strong defense. Trubisky did okay last year. He didn't do bad, and they went 12-4. So
Yeah.
if he can take any type of next step forward, maybe get to around 4,000 passing yards. What did he have last year? 3,200. Yeah,
3,200.
If he can get to about 4,000 passing yards, 24 touchdowns was cool. 12 picks, not bad.
Shit, he only got sacked 24 times. That line did their job.
Right. So if he can improve on those numbers just a little bit, 66% completion percentage. I mean, looking at his numbers, you think, okay, what are y'all talking about? He's bad. He ain't bad, but the eye test, when you actually looking at games, fuck these stats. When the eye test last year, I didn't see, like I said earlier, a quarterback that's going to carry a team. But with this particular defense, you don't necessarily have to. We've seen players like Alex Smith over the years. Again, he's not going to light it up every week. He might have a game here and there where he lights it up passing. But for the most part, he's going to depend on that defense. And not turning the ball over is going to be key. And moving the ball and let the defense do its job, and they'll be all right.
Shit, these numbers look like Cam Newton on some regular years. 400 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. That's a trajectory right there. So we'll see where it goes. It's only a third year, but I'm not convinced they're going to get this division. Let's go to the second team, the Minnesota Vikings. They went 8-7-1. They had Kirk Cousins at the helm. Offense only finished 20th, but it's another situation where the defense finished 4th. That don't seem like the right number, but it is correct. I thought their defense got gashed a little bit more than they normally did last year. But this seems to fall back the same way in regards to I think everybody was pointing the finger at Cousins, but you can't play quarterback from your back. And he was on his back a lot last year. A lot. 40 times getting sacked. They had a whole lot of injuries on that offensive line. I think they spent most of their draft and free agency money trying to fix their offensive line. But Dalvin Cook was hurt a good bit last year, if I can recall. He didn't play a lot. Well, no, he played 11 games, but it still means he missed 5. He's always good for missing between 4 to 5 games a year. You got good wide receivers, but ain't no routes going to develop if the quarterback don't have time. And that did not seem to be the case last year. He may have not got hit a good bit like this, but he did get pressured and get rid of the ball. I'm trying to remember what game that was on national TV where him and Thielen were arguing. He was like, I don't have time. I don't have time for you to go the whole way.
Yeah, it was a Sunday night game. I want to say it was early in the season, but yeah. So they had an up and down season last year. A lot of it is fuzzy right now. I don't recall a lot of it, but what's that?
Remember, they could have made the playoffs. They were playing Chicago that last game, and they couldn't beat their 2s, but they would have snuck in the playoffs if they'd have won that game. That's how Philly got in.
Right. That's true. Let me see. So biggest, no really big offensive additions. Well, I think they got some line help, but you got an Adam Thielen and Diggs, on both on the outside. If Dalvin Cook, like you said, if he can stay on the field, he can definitely be productive. Did they bring another back in? Because I know Murray is gone.
I want to say they did. Let me see.
Okay.
You know, they came up. Well, I don't see that they did. I'm pretty sure they did. I didn't write who it was. That tight end from Alabama dropped to them. The one who was supposed to be top 15 this past year. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
He dropped to him, so they needed a tight end. But they got what's that guy's name? The big tight end they've had for years. They re-signed him. They were gonna cut him. He said he wasn't gonna take no pay cut, and he got a new deal. So
Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph. There you go. But it seems like with this team also, you remember last year they got rid of the OC because he wasn't running the ball enough. Once they went back to running the ball the way Mike Zimmer wanted to, that's kind of when they made that push late to almost get in the playoffs. So
I
that
think
very well could be.
because they kind of it was DiFilippo, the guy from Philly.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah. He was there, and then they got rid of him probably with first half of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt he was, if I remember correctly, I kind of feel that they made him the scapegoat.
They did.
But he was not running the ball
Nope.
too. So but I guess Mike Zimmer felt a little pressure. He felt the change needed to be made. So if he made that kind of change early in the season last year, this is his third or fourth year there.
Third or fourth.
Is he feeling a little pressure from up top to take this team to the next level, especially with the money that they're paying Kirk Cousins, which now that we kind of look at it and take a step back, that money is basic money now.
It's basic.
And again, it was only a 3-year deal, so they are not handcuffed long term.
No. What's that? I'm losing all kind of names tonight. The number one corner they got.
I almost said Xavier Rhodes.
Xavier Rhodes. He had a bad year last year. He I want to say he was injured, but I know Zimmer called him out heavy this offseason. Like, we need more out of him. He didn't play up to the money they paid him, but with the way the rules are today, where you can't really touch these cats at wide receiver, that's got to be one of the hardest positions to play as far as cornerback. Got to be.
Especially when you a bigger corner like Rhodes, and you want to get physical when you a bigger corner. You ain't out here trying to be the quickest with the feet, with the footwork, and keep up with these little shifty receivers. In that matter, you want to be able to put your hands on them within that 5 yards, redirect them, and down the field, maybe nudge them a little bit, get them off course. But like you said, it's an offensive game. Flags are being thrown galore. It's going to be real interesting to see how this challenge of pass interference comes into play this year. So you like you just said, the rules are not really in favor of the defense at all, and especially not bigger corners to me.
This wasn't a bad team if you look at giveaway, takeaway. They finished even with that. They only had 92 penalties on the year, which ranked 30th. They just got to tighten up some stuff. Protect that quarterback. I believe Cousins will be better this year than he was last year. There's no reason. And I believe they lost a couple of close games. Hell, they could have – the tie game. They kicker missed some kicks against Green Bay. They could have won that game. It was a few close games they lost that, you flip that around, you're looking at 10-6, 11-5 on a few of them games. So who knows?
Yeah, and kickers screwed a lot of teams last year. Kickers screwed a lot of teams last year. And like you said, man, those games go the other way, then it's a whole different ball game. But that is the NFL, because most teams, or a lot of teams rather, are going to have anywhere from 3 to 5 games where it comes down to a possession or two, a play or two here and there that kind of swings the game. And you can be 6-10 or you can be 10-6, just the same. So if anything, it's all about those. It's inches. It's a game of inches. Everything counts. So you just got to limit your mistakes.
Random question. Yeah. How many teams right now you think are just legit good with, okay, we got to kick a game winner going in? It don't really seem like there's a lot of them who are just flat out confident at this point, the way kicking been going the last year or two. It really don't seem like that, do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say since the season hasn't started, but I guess we'll see. We'll see when it starts. You had some teams get rid of.
There's a lot of kicker movement this offseason.
Yeah, and we talk about finding a reliable kicker. You look at the Falcons, for example. They got rid of one of the most consistent kickers out there. And Matt Bryant, yeah, he was a little bit older, but he was pretty much money.
Yeah, he ain't found a job yet.
No, he's still at the crib.
That's surprising. That's real surprising.
I'm sure it's only because of his age. If he were a little bit younger, because a few teams that needed kickers went with younger guys. So,
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. But
absolutely.
Minnesota got a very good chance to win this division. They should be right there in the mix. If they don't win the division, they should be right there in the mix for the wild card.
Right. So got a good mixture of everything. They just got to keep quarterback upright, and I do believe the coach is playing for his job. They're in a new building. Yeah, I believe he is. They ain't patient like that no more. All right, let's go to the Green Bay Packers. They went 6-9-1. I was at middle of the year last. They ain't even get due to the end of the year last year. McCarthy, he got fired mid-season, right? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
maybe November.
We kind of saw that one coming. You can't have probably one of the best quarterbacks of this generation, and y'all not consistently get to the playoffs, or he's consistently getting hurt because we ain't putting no money in the offensive line. Now, they do tend to have a lot of injuries on their offensive line, so it's not just the money in that case, but it's pretty safe to say they've not done a lot with Aaron Rodgers' prime.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely not. Because if it's not the offensive line, then it's the damn secondary that's having problems. You look back a couple of years ago when they made the playoffs and came in here to Atlanta, and I want to say they were down to their third and fourth string corners. Like the whole secondary was like third and fourth string, people off the street.
Julio abused that poor young man.
Yeah, they abused him. So it's always something with this team. When you think they got a complete team, here come a guy that doesn't do his job in the NFC Championship game on an onside kick in Seattle. It's always something. And of course, you had the infighting or whatever you want to call it between McCarthy and Rodgers, a power struggle or whatever. Aaron Rodgers changing 99% of the plays when he gets to the line and things like that. So
it kind of saw the way that was going to go, though. I mean, you're Mike McCarthy. This is Aaron Rodgers.
I thought they would at least give McCarthy to the end of the year.
That would have been the respectful thing to do, considering the fact he won a Super Bowl. But I guess they had to end that.
Won a Super Bowl, been there for all those years. You would think, but I guess not.
I come into this year though.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the most confident in their defense that I've probably felt since the Super Bowl year.
I can respect that. Maybe because for this year they kind of changed. I guess they got new front office people too, but they kind of changed their philosophy. Packers used to didn't really spend money in free agency like at all. It was all about homegrown. We're gonna groom the cats that we got here. The ones that we like, we'll pay them a little bit, but we're not gonna overpay them, and we damn sure not paying anybody off the street a lot of money. That was their MO. Well, they changed this year, spent some money, drafted a few cats. That's pretty good as well. So, like you said, the defense is looking good on paper. We'll see how it goes. As long as you got 12, though, if you can keep him upright, and if the defense can do his job half-ass, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They should be okay. I am a little concerned about the weapons outside of Devontae Adams. So we got
a lot of youngins that they need some return on these investments.
Right.
A lot of them.
Right.
I thought that would have been a good spot for Crab, man. I really thought that would have been.
And it still could possibly be. If I had a word of advice for those young skill players in Green Bay, the receivers especially, make sure you know your playbook and make sure that you know what spots to be in. If you can do that, 12 will get you the ball.
Anybody seen Jimmy Graham lately?
Is he hurt? He hasn't been practicing?
Nah, he's there. Just they almost cut him this offseason. He really has not been the same since that knee injury. Jimmy was explosive and running past cats. He has not been the same since he tore up his knee. But I believe he'll have a better year this year, perceivably. I mean, where are his numbers at? 16 games, 55 balls. That's a whole lot of targets, only having 55 of them, and only 2 touchdowns. That's surprising for him, considering he probably one of the bigger cats on that team. The attention's going Devontae's way, so surprised that didn't work out.
Yeah, I'm kind of off Jimmy Graham. He hadn't been.
It's been years.
Yeah, like I said, since he left New Orleans. So I'm not expecting very much out of him.
I want to say they drafted somebody too, but yeah, that's going to be a big thing in regards to those skill positions if those young boys catch up. I like the young running back Jones. He got hurt toward the end of the year last year, but he's explosive. Kind of puts you in the mind of Jamal Charles as far as the shiftiness, can run out the backfield, can catch, a good bit of that. But, Mike McCarthy wanted to keep Jamal Williams in the game, so we're going to see which way that goes. How do you feel about all this stuff in the offseason so far, where I think it's noise in a sense, but Aaron don't have to speak on everything, do we?
That's where I was going to ask you. Do you think this whole what's being played out in the media as far as tension or whatever you want to call it between him and LaFleur already? Do you think it's legit? Do you think it's just smoke or noise? How on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think it's an actual real legit concern right now?
I think it's a 5. Now, I believe LaFleur, when he came out and said, we're going to run our offense and kind of play it into it's going to be his way, I think that was starting a pissing match, especially in regards to the whole thing about allowing Aaron to audible. But then Aaron went further. Aaron's been on some Big Ben stuff, not as far as calling the coaches and not calling the players out, but it just seems like you don't have to answer everything. When he was like, well, I've been doing this for 12 years, however long he been doing it, I can do stuff that nobody else can do. He ain't got to necessarily say that, because that's basically saying, fuck what you saying, I'm Aaron Rodgers. We know who you are.
We know Ben's issues more with players or Antonio Brown, really.
Yeah.
Aaron seems a little insubordinate.
Very.
You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be interesting. And, LaFleur, he's trying to come in and understand his position. I'm coming in. I'm the head coach. We are gonna do things my way, because you gotta send that message to the entire football team.
Right.
If I'm gonna hold Aaron Rodgers accountable, so if I'm gonna hold him accountable, that the rest of y'all damn sure better get in line. But when you got Aaron pushing back, that could be a little bit of friction. So again, it's a win. It's a winning league. As long as they're winning, everything will be cool. But if they start losing,
I'm confident they'll win more games if he don't get sacked 49 times. I feel real confident about that.
They should win more than 6 games this year. Now, I haven't watched. Well, they've only played 1 preseason game. I'll check them out this week. I didn't check them out last week. I'm not real familiar with what kind of offense LaFleur is running, and how different it varies from what Mike McCarthy ran. So I really can't speak too much on that. But
he was the offensive coordinator in Tennessee last year.
Tennessee, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he about the same age as Aaron.
Well, he got a much better quarterback. He got a much better quarterback. But see, that's another thing too. You say he the same age as Aaron. I know the league is trying to get the next Sean McVay, the next what's another young cat that's been successful like right off the bat. I know it's one more. Yeah, but you want to try to recreate that. But when you 35, when you 35 years old, and you a head coach now, all of a sudden, you don't get the same respect sometimes, because people feel like they're your peer.
Right. I'm trying to see how old this cat is.
I don't even think he's 35. Well, no, that's McVay. That's like really, really young.
I think, wasn't he on his staff? No, the other dude with Cincinnati was on McVay's staff.
Yeah, but he's a young cat.
Yeah, so it's hard to say. And Aaron's not going nowhere. He re-upped. He's there. He had 2 or 3 years behind Brett, so he's rather fresh. You're gonna have to make it work. Now, I completely agree as far as long as Aaron's been there. I mean, what is this shit about he can't really audible? Why?
Yeah, I don't get that either. That's where, like I said, I respect trying to come in and kind of stamp yourself as I'm in charge of this football team. Everything comes from the top down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you start saying things like somebody like Aaron, we ain't talking about Mitch Trubisky or Mariota. We talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
If you're not going to allow him to step to the line and realize that the fuck shit play that you just called is not going to work and audible out of it, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And I think that's where the power struggle is going to come in.
Aaron's kind of looked at, this past year is kind of looked at like LeBron's last year to me. People kind of say Aaron had a down year. He had over 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. You know how many people would kill for that down year?
Listen, I think it's another one of those things where the quarterback gets too much credit when the teams win sometimes, and then of course they're going to shoulder all of the blame when things don't go well. We know what Aaron brings to the table.
Yeah.
So
if you give him a defense, he tends to win. People, it's kind of how it goes.
Like I said, they didn't have receivers in and out of there. I know we know Jordy Nelson's been there for a while or was there for a while. He's coming back to retire with them. Randall Cobb was there forever. But pretty much a lot of other receivers been in and out, and he has been able to continue to pile up stats. That's why I say if these young guys can just learn their playbook, be in the right spots, make good decisions, and play with their head, 12 will get them the ball.
They gave up 25 points a game last year, and they averaged 24. We switched that up a little bit, get them down around 17, 18 a game. Aaron will be okay. So, all right, we talked about 3 good teams we believe who have a chance to make the playoffs, and then we come to the Detroit Lions.
Okay, and LaFleur, by the way, he's a little bit older than we thought. He'll be 40 in November.
Okay, so he our age. Aaron's what, 34, 35?
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Okay, so.
But that's still in the same kind of period.
Yeah. They could still, yeah, absolutely.
Aaron, respect your coach, man. Respect your coach.
I think if this shit goes left this year, they may not point directly at the young boy. They might be looking at him because McCarthy's gone. Everybody else is gone. They got to start shifting this blame somewhere.
Yeah, and if you change coaches, you change front office, you bring in all these key additions on defense, and if it still ends up the same, then hey, what's the common denominator?
Yeah, got to look at it that way. So, got to, but he ain't going nowhere. They got his money. So, all right, Detroit Lions. They went 6-10 last year with Matt Patricia as the head coach.
Where my pencil at? I ain't got it. Damn.
Yeah, they started off bad last year.
I use my Apple Pencil.
No, they didn't. Didn't they win that first game last year? Didn't they beat the Jets?
Man, Detroit. How many games they win? 5?
6. I think they won that first game, though, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they lost a lot. I can't remember. But some kind of way they ended up with 6 because it was looking bad for a while there. But they found a way to get to these 6 wins. But this kind of seemed to be their range anyway. 6-10. On the high side, 8-8.
Right.
I don't know what to make of the Detroit Lions ever.
I'm trying to find something that I like about the team.
I don't like nothing. I'm not hating or being shitty. I can't think of one thing I like. I'm surprised this defense finished 10th. I'm real surprised at that.
Well, I'll say this. I like Matt Stafford, but he's never had the team around him. I mean, yes, he's had Calvin Johnson, but he's never really had a complete team around him to really go to the next level. If I can think of a quick comparison real quick, we shit on Melo a lot in the NBA from the times he was in Denver and whatnot. He didn't win.
Yeah.
Well, his teams in Denver were not as talented as those Lakers teams, those Spurs teams in the West.
Right.
So as much as we want to blame Melo for all that shit, he was not beating those teams. Okay.
Yeah, no.
It was not happening. And I think it's the same with Matt Stafford. I think he has to do things out of sort, so to speak, to try to help them win.
I think the biggest problem with Detroit, problem, they front office.
It's always been bad.
You think they let Sue come through there? They let him walk.
Mm-hmm.
Sue was in his. Well, I know he was on that crazy shit at that time too, though. But could you let him walk at that point? And you drafted him that high?
I can't remember exactly why. I know it had a lot to do with the money
They didn't want
too.
to pay him. It was the money. But I mean, shit. Who else is taking their money in Detroit? You know, it just seems like it's always something as far as that front office not building a team. Now they got them cat. I guess you can call them New England North, if that makes sense, because they got a whole lot of dudes from New England up there now. So maybe it will switch. Maybe.
I can kind of see why not wanting to pay Sue. Because so we talk about in the NBA, another NBA analogy. We talk about how the luxury tax is for winners.
Yeah.
It's hard to justify paying multiple players over $100 million when you're not winning.
That's true.
I can kind of see that. But some positives. I think Kerryon Johnson definitely needs to get more than 150 touches this year.
Riddick's gone now, so he should be eating.
Okay. The Galladay boy, big receiver. I like him. So we'll see what the Lions are able to do, but I'm not expecting any more than another probably 6-10, 7-9 season at best.
Yeah.
Hell, if they win 7 games, that might be an overachievement.
Do you think they trust Patricia?
I was just about to say, it's how much time that dude got this year, maybe next. I gave him 3 years when he came in. Last year was his first year, right?
Yeah, but like I said, it's a dude from New England running the team, so they homies. He probably got this year. If this shit goes south this year, yeah, he probably fired. Because I can't. I'm not gonna hurt me to help you. So
yeah, I was like, he can have somebody from New England in the front office all he want. They still come with that New England mindset. You got to win. And if you don't, I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Even if we grew up together. Well, if we grew up together, that might be different. I found somewhere for you. But you got to run.
In this situation here, though, I mean, the way he started off with them, the lack of communication, he was at war with the media off top. You just got there. How are you at war with the media when you just got there?
Right. Yeah. I think he found
He's
out
another one of those New England assistants to where, the world is expecting greatness when these cats may not be ready for what's supposed to be happening. Mike Vrabel is looking like the best one right now.
Right. And that's a former player,
Yeah.
He was an assistant at Green Bay. I mean, not Green Bay, in New England for a little bit.
Yeah, he worked there and with Houston before he was with Houston too, I believe, before he got that job.
It was Houston. Yeah, but these cats are finding out just because you was under Bill Belichick, it's not always going to trickle down, and it's a whole different ball game when you are the head coach.
I just don't. I don't think you need to have like wild charisma as a head coach, but this cat here, I just don't like shit about it. He just needs to be a DC. Everybody ain't Batman. Everybody's not. Maybe he'll surprise me this year, but I just didn't like nothing I saw from him last year. Nothing.
I didn't like the hire to begin with before they even played a game. And of course, like you just said, he didn't do anything to convince me otherwise last year. We'll see how year 2 goes.
Yeah. All right.
Shout out to Matt Stafford and his wife, man. I hope she's getting better.
Yeah. Shit, if I want to say Stafford was hurt last year, he played through. From what they were saying after the
Stafford always playing through injuries, man. That cat is about as tough as they come.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get to the division predictions. You got anything bold?
No, because I don't. Not anything bold, because I think it can be any of those 3 teams, Chicago, Minnesota, or the Packers. They are right there in the same bunch, playoff contenders. We'll see whether they can become a Super Bowl contender. I know a lot of people want to throw Chicago in there off of last year, but let's just see how this year goes. I think that I like Chicago's defense.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately that will win them the division. I think Trubisky will improve even more than he did last year. I'll give him credit where credit is due. I didn't like this dude started one year coming out of North Carolina at that. I wasn't high on him last year, but he showed me enough to say, okay, he's a competent quarterback. He's better than a lot of shit that's out here. So, I like Chicago to win the division by a game. I think them and the Packers probably played last game of the season or something. It'll probably come down to that.
Give me Minnesota.
Okay. You like Cousins and company?
I feel like they weren't that bad last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think this every division we break down, it's at least two teams in here. We had the same thing to say. If you keep the quarterback upright, things might be better. Now saying Minnesota, that's also saying I expect Kirk Cousins to beat that defense, and that Chicago defense is only getting better. It's only getting better.
I think for Minnesota to win the division, Dalvin Cook got to have a breakout year. This will be his third year. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? In the 11 games he played last year, we just had it. I think he had like 800 or 900 yards, which ain't bad. But for where he was drafted at, from what they need from that team, Latavius Murray is out of the way.
Yeah.
I need him to step up for that team to win the division.
I think he's gonna get the work. We just gotta see what he do with it. So
with Zimmer there, he's definitely gonna get the opportunity. You're absolutely right.
So, well, that's that on the NFC North. We're gonna see what happens with it. The homies taking the Bears. I am taking Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I said it wrong because that's what the GM at Washington said.
So we both just sat here and took Mitch Trubisky and Kirk Cousins over Aaron Rodgers. People, yeah, we did it.
The defenses, you got to beat them defenses, and I don't believe Devontae can beat Chicago and Minnesota's defense by itself. You're going to need them youngins to step up. That running game, you're not running on Chicago. I don't think you're running on Minnesota. So Aaron's going to have to beat them with his arm. He's going to need some help.
But look at what are we discrediting the Green Bay defense that we just gave them credit for improving?
No, I'm not discrediting them because I believe they're going to be better. They actually paid for pass rush. They brought in the safety from Chicago, Amos. They drafted good secondary help the last couple of years.
Right.
I expect the offense to do attempt to do what they need to do. That defense is going to be better, but I just don't know if they're going to beat Chicago better. Khalil Mack's in his prime, and like he been saying, we got to get this done now, right now. Their window is open because Trubisky's on that rookie deal. You have to win now.
That's true, and I'm not going to back off my pick, but sitting here now, thinking about it, I think it's a better chance of Aaron Rodgers being successful against even a Chicago defense or a Minnesota defense than a Kirk Cousins or a Mitch Trubisky being better against an improved Green Bay defense.
It's possible. I guess I just need to see how that line works out for Green Bay.
That's true. That's true. Because
if I'm not mistaken, didn't they play first game of the year last year and didn't he beat them on Sunday Night Football, Aaron? Didn't he steal that game or they beat him? It's one or the other, but that was a good ass game. Khalil Mack had about 2 or 3 sacks, but he played them strong. It's just we got to see how the help works out and if they can keep him upright. You keep 12 upright, and these young boys learn how to catch the ball and get open, then they're gonna have a chance. They're gonna have a chance, but they went 8-7-1 last year, and the wheels fell clean off for Minnesota. Clean off. You switch a couple of those games around, make some kicks. They play in a dome. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't be surprised. The only thing that would surprise me out of this division is if the Lions won it.
If Detroit wins, that's the only thing that would be surprising.
But we know that they won't. We know they're going to start our Thanksgiving off.
Shitty.
Bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm usually taking a shower, getting dressed, to go eat Thanksgiving dinner during their game at 12 o'clock. So
every year they get that game. Every year. Anywho, all right. Let's run through these last few news and notes for the NFL this week. AB apparently resolved his helmet issue and will not be retiring. We did the show last Wednesday, and come Friday, Antonio Brown had showed his ass. left camp, said he was going to retire over the helmet. We already dealing with the feet situation. But he got an attorney, got a hearing where the NFL basically told him the rules are the rules. You had a year to get prepared for this. You can't wear that damn helmet. Get out of our office. So basically, the only other option he had was to get the same helmet, just get it from 2010 or later. And he went online and said he would give somebody a jersey or a helmet, and they found a few of them. Don't that seem like Drew Rosenhaus would have came up with this? Like, hey, maybe there's another one out there somewhere before they went to all these extremes.
Well, I still think I still don't think it's 100% certainty that the NFL is still going to certify it. So that they still have to certify. It wasn't just about it being 10 years older. It was about that particular model. Yeah. So they still got to see if they can even get it certified. Watching Hard Knocks last night, I changed my opinion a little bit because I got a different take on some of the foolishness, so to speak. As far as him retiring thing, I never took that seriously anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna quit. Too much money.
Right. So I never really dug into that too much. The feet situation, now that I kind of understand it, he's just really waiting for dead skin to peel off of his feet.
That was a smoke screen to me, the helmet.
No. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was really the helmet that was really causing it. I know that was what was reported and everything, but they also reported that he was AWOL and nobody knew where the hell he was. Well, within the first 5 minutes of Hard Knocks last night, we saw that they said Antonio Brown is leaving camp.
Yeah, he left camp.
So that part of it was fake and false as well.
Yeah.
So, the helmet issue, he's there. Helmet issues looking to be resolved. He's still recovering from his feet. At the end of the day, this should be swept under the rug pretty soon. It's going to be about catching footballs and winning games.
Yeah, I just felt like the helmet thing was the smoke to take everything away, take it off of his feet. Now they came out and said that it wasn't his fault, but so you tell the people who run the cryo thing, they didn't tell him to cover his feet before he got in there?
And see this, I said this from the jump. When everybody was calling them names and calling them idiot and everything, I was like, nah. Because if you go to do something like that,
yeah,
it is the facility's job to make sure that you use the equipment, whatever, properly. Because guess what? They don't want a lawsuit.
Right.
So I just couldn't fathom him. And then two, he makes his living with his hands and his feet.
Right.
I cannot see them saying, hey, you need to wear this type of footwear and him be like, nah. That just wasn't fallible to me. That never made any sense. That never made any sense to me.
No, not at all.
So now
I had frostbite as a child. That shit sucks.
Right. and I saw today that Drew Rosenhaus said that they may be pursuing legal action against them. So that's what I thought from about the feet thing from the jump.
Sad part about it is AB has built up enough equity to where any story that comes out is going to be viewed this way.
And that's the thing too. And that's where he's, if you want to say at fault or whatever, because if this were Larry Fitzgerald, he would have gotten every benefit of the doubt. But because it's AB, your reputation precedes you. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just something he got to deal with, but I don't think he gives a damn about that.
Nope. Not at all, because the money was guaranteed and business is booming. So, all right, Andrew Luck, the GM came out today, or yesterday, today, one or the other, and stated that now he's dealing with the high ankle sprain. Okay, the beginning of camp, it was what was it?
Let's take roll call or whatever on this. Yeah. So
OTAs, it was it the knee?
Calf.
Yeah,
I didn't watch in OTAs, and I was listening to last week's show today, as a matter of fact, and you were asking me, did he get hurt in OTAs? And I was like, no, I don't think so. But yes, he got hurt in the OTAs with the calf. So they came in the training camp rather, saying it was a calf.
Right.
Then they were saying it was a bone.
Right.
Now it's a high ankle. The injury seems to be moving around,
Yeah. It really seems to be moving around, and I'd be concerned with these doctors, because they keep getting shit wrong with him.
That's
you know,
true.
you remember he had that first surgery. That was wrong. They had to go back in. You know, people, you just made a good point about AB. You said he makes his living with his hands and his feet. Andrew Luck makes his business with his shoulder and pretty much the rest of his body. But these cats here, they don't seem bright in regards to the injuries. It's not adding up. You know?
That is a problem.
Yes.
Especially when you're dealing with your 130 million, whatever he makes, quarterback, franchise quarterback. You can't get injuries wrong with any player, because every player is an asset and an investment to a degree. But you damn sure can't get it right with the franchise quarterback, and this continues to happen. Now, are they getting it wrong, or are the Colts purposely throwing different shit out here to mask what's really going on? It could be something worse than what even the 3 injuries that they have reported so far.
And you know what people been saying? They've been saying that KD shit. It was the calf when it really was the Achilles. Your Achilles ain't that. What they're saying is a high ankle sprain. Ankle, Achilles, all of that's right around the same damn area. Yeah. And for him not to be moving now. And, you know, before, oh, yeah, he'll be ready for, you know, probably about the 3rd preseason game. Now they saying we're going to know if he's ready for week 1 by the 3rd preseason game. I would have concerns. I probably would jump on one of them planes and go to my own damn doctor. See what's really good. Because these cats don't really seem like they getting it.
Luck, it's
all his fault,
the training team to do a good job, and we're trying to get it right, and it's going to be okay, and they're doing a good job. We're just trying to manage it, and it's a lot of we'll get it. My job is to be out there week 1 and support the team. I'm out there in practice, and we're still getting some good work in. We'll be okay.
But Andrew, they lied to your face about the injury.
I know, but people make mistakes.
That's exactly how that should go. It was probably my fault. I pushed it too hard.
Let this training staff pull this shit with Aaron Rodgers.
Let them.
Totally different story.
Totally different. But yeah, this is one of the teams I think has a legit chance to get to the Super Bowl. So I would like to see him be healthy, but man, y'all can't keep fucking me over with these injuries, cuz. That's just, who do I talk to that knows the truth? Who?
Right.
Shit. Anyway, let's see what happens. Houston, we talked about this about 2 weeks ago. Per reports, they now got Jadeveon Clowney on the block. They said they need to get a left tackle to protect Deshaun Watson. We've been saying that about 2 years now. Okay, I got some teams listed here. Doesn't it seem like it just needs to be Washington if Trent Williams don't want to be there?
And they could use another pass rusher.
Now, they did get the boy Montez Sweat later in the draft, and they already got Brandon Kerrigan. But if I can get Jadeveon Clowney,
that's totally different.
We'll make it work. But that just seems like the easiest solution here. Dan Snyder will pay, so why not? But these other teams on here, Philly, the Colts, Jets, and Seattle.
They should have done this a long time ago.
Round draft.
But when you don't have a GM and you got Bill O'Brien really running shit,
and his dumb ass on TV today, I know nothing about these trade. Him being on the block, we expect him to show up. It's up to him, man. That dude there, you was right on that one. That was one of my L's up there with Emeka Okafor. That was one of mine because I believed in this cat. I thought he was all right. I'll hold that L.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Problem is, like they were saying, people said, well, Mike Lombardi reported, if I'm not mistaken, he said the problem ain't with getting the trade done. It's what is Clowney going to want financially? That, what is he going to want?
Right, because any team willing to do a deal, you're going to have to give up, pretty good bit to get him more than likely. And you are going to go ahead.
What picks you offer? If it's you, what would you offer?
Clowney? I mean, what I'm offering, I'll offer
first. And you wouldn't go first?
For the Colts,
team, I throw that first because it's low.
For the Colts, I would because it'll be a late first. It'll be a late first. Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
It'll probably take a first and a third, first and a second. It'll probably take multiple picks to get him.
Yeah.
But they have the money because they didn't spend big in the offseason. So it'll make some sense financially.
But they're not trading in division though.
That's another part. That's another part. But
I wouldn't care about that shit if it was me. If I'm a GM, I want to make the best deal possible for my team. Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
But in this case, though, it would worry me a little bit more because we're talking about a defensive end.
Yeah.
And my offensive line in Houston ain't been the best.
Yeah.
I don't want Clowney coming back and destroying Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson, see them traded him to the Colts. He'll call Bill O'Brien, Coach, what the fuck?
And 2 times a year.
Y'all couldn't send him to Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I expect it to happen at least before the trade deadline. And that's a smart move. I'm proud of the NFL for finally moving into not being afraid to make trades. Shit, if you need to get somebody off your books, you ain't gonna franchise them because hell, we know JJ's gonna be wanting money at some point. We know that. So you can't pay 2 dudes $100 million on the end. You gotta pay Deshaun Watson very soon. So
right.
Yeah. All right, Golden Tate's appeal got denied. We saw that coming. It's kind of a waste of your time, homie.
Tough shit. I mean, you got to try. You got to try. And I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I feel it was a valid. If what he said was true, and I don't have any reason to think he's lying. I think that would be a valid reason to let it slide. But like we said, also they didn't let Robert Mathis slide either. This is where I think the NFL needs to. It's tough because if you start loosening up and being a little bit more lenient, now you're setting precedents where you let this one walk for this.
Right.
Why not let me walk for this? So I guess you got to kind of streamline it and have everything in one accord so that there's no grievances, so to speak. But it's tough. At the end of the day, they're going to stick by that rule. You are responsible for whatever goes into your body.
Absolutely. I thought it was suckerific on Golden's part when he was like, the doctor said he done gave the same supplements to a whole lot of players. I thought that was suckerish.
Yeah. At least he didn't name nobody. Now, if he would start naming people.
What if they started to be suckers and look into who this guy don't work with and jam somebody up behind that shit? That's just take your L and keep it moving. Don't throw anybody. Yeah, you don't want that shit getting started. So you mad, but hell, Eli gonna have them same ducks waiting on you. Week 5.
Yeah, you be all right. You know what I'm saying? You getting
might have worked out for him. Shit, Eli jump off a cliff. You might have a young boy in there with some zip on the ball. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
Could very well work out. So, all right. Was that yesterday afternoon? The news got announced of this deal between Jay-Z's Rock Nation and the NFL. To where that was about yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Okay. Well, basically, Rock Nation is they're going to lead the NFL's ventures into music, entertainment, and I think they're going to help with social injustice as well.
Right.
Okay. This kind of gave me a chuckle when I first read it, because my main question at the time was I didn't have time for it yesterday to go on Twitter. I was gonna be like, "So y'all watching football again?"
Hey, man.
Are y'all back?
Hey, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you have this. I'm gonna let you have this one. Go ahead.
I mean, so my thing is, I'm not gonna repeat a lot of stuff that I've said over a lot of the other shows, but
that was 180 shows ago. You can keep going.
Yeah, that's true. But this is my thing, and whether it's Jay-Z, or any other entertainer or social activist or anybody, my thing is, don't rile the people up to be behind the scenes cutting deals and cutting checks.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, Jay-Z, we know that over the last 10, 15 years, whether it be about making money in business or music or whatever, what come out of Jay-Z's mouth, people listen and people follow.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so when when he's making songs saying, I said no to the Super Bowl, I don't need y'all need me, or whatever the line was. And then here you go and you cutting this type of deal with the NFL, and Cap is still sitting on the sidelines.
Don't forget last year when he had comments about Travis Scott performing at the Super Bowl.
That is true. I
he
forgot
was
about
that shit.
Right. So that's why I raise an eyebrow and scratch my head. And I love Jay-Z. He's one of my favorite rappers all time.
Yep.
But I call a spade a spade. I think everybody has a price.
Yep.
I said some of the same stuff about T.I. and his wanting to boycott Gucci for 3 months. And some other things that he's done, like he called for the boycott of Houston's, had people all out there and what have you. And I think don't get me wrong, the heart is in the right place. You want these things to take place and you want change to come, but you can't get change with this cancel culture.
Cancel culture is trash.
That we fell into. Okay, you can't expect to change stuff if you're not willing to work with people. And right. I ain't saying forgive people 100%, or I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying be honest with people.
Right.
Like with the Jay-Z thing, like, look, we're unhappy about XYZ. What are y'all going to do about it? Let's come to the table and come to some type of agreement. From what I understand, that's what he more or less said in the press conference today. Yeah. Again, my only problem is when you have the power that you have and the people follow you, let's take a little step back with riling the people up when you behind the scenes collecting checks and collecting money. I don't like that part. I don't really respect that part of it.
And they were saying that it's been conflicting reports. Like, I want to say Jay said he spoke to Cap. Cap girl came out and said no, he didn't. Why would he lie about that? What?
Nessa is always whenever some shit happen or something is said, go to Nessa's Twitter and she gonna tell you. We don't hear from Cap. We don't hear from Cap too often. He puts out tweets every now and then. We hear more from Eric Reed, and I'm not sure if you saw his Twitter timeline last night, but he was dropping some info last night. He is a good follow. Go check that out, people. But if you want to know what Cap is thinking about any of these situations and you haven't heard from him, go to Nessa's page.
Yep.
She'll tell you what's up. And never have I seen anything that she said, Cap come back and say, nah, that's not my position or whatever. Nope. So if she say, nah, they ain't spoke to him, I believe her.
Yeah, I believe that as well. So
I believe her.
We gonna see what happens. At the end of the day, my personal opinion, I didn't know what exactly people expected the NFL to do in regards to police. You can bring attention to stuff, but the way folks is coming at the league, a football player is not gonna make a cop in Southwest Atlanta not throw somebody on the ground and possibly kill them. Not gonna make them do it. But you brought attention to it, and I respect that. Yes.
Yeah, I love the awareness piece of it. And I'm not saying people are wrong if you boycott it or you wanted to boycott it, or if you cut your TV off and haven't turned it back on, or if you found your choice or whatever. That is, what I'm saying, that's absolutely your choice. You got that right. My thing is, let's not jump on the bandwagon. Let's be calculated in how we do these things, because I knew from day one that us turning off our TVs was not going to be the answer. We were not going to hurt the NFL's pockets. As a matter of fact, they made money. And this is not just people boycotting. No, that word boycotting for Cap. You had the other side, the Trump folks, that was saying that they were boycotting the NFL too, and they were canceling their NFL Sunday tickets or whatever because they felt that Cap and other players that were kneeling were disrespecting the flag. Well, if everybody boycotting, I'm not sure how the NFL's revenues kept going up. Somebody lying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Big lying.
So, somebody's big line. It's tough because as minorities, the way that we feel about things is very, very valid. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think we can strategically go about things different. If we wanted to hurt the NFL's pockets, we needed to start boycotting all their sponsors. And that's the hard part, because I mean, you look at all these brands and things. A lot of this shit people have become dependent on. You know, people say shop black businesses and things of that nature. Some of these avenues and markets, black businesses is not
Don't
in
exist.
at all, or they don't have the power, or they haven't made enough headway into that particular section of business or whatever to make any real impact. So
Right.
we gotta work to some degree with, you know what I'm saying, with other people. It's just the only way that I think is going to make a difference. It just can't be. And I know I'm starting to ramble, but it has to be more in depth. We got to think about the stuff, and it has to be more in depth thinking. And we have to actually have a plan when we go to do these things if we want to make the type of impact that we're saying that we're going to make. Going on Twitter and tweeting about it every day and complaining, that's not going to do a whole lot.
No, it's not. It's really not. All right. That wraps up that football. Got 2 quick basketball stories. I'm going to read off some names to you. Justin Anderson, Chris Chiozza, Scotty Hobson, DeQuan Jeffries, John Jenkins, Yatin Mateen, Ben Moore, and like 4 other dudes. These dudes was on a team that played the Olympic team today, and they beat them.
Justin Anderson, is that the cat that went to Virginia, I think?
Yeah.
John Jenkins, that name sounds familiar too.
He played for the Hawks, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he played for that's the same guy I'm thinking
Scotty
about.
Hobson's, I remember him as well.
Okay.
That name sounds familiar at least. But yeah, these dudes scrimmaged against this team and they beat them today, like the full team.
Did they scrimmage against the national team or the select team?
No, the national.
Okay.
With Kemba and them, like all of Boston.
I mean, but we talking, you know, we know the caliber of players. They good players, don't get me wrong, but they not.
We're gonna be pressed to win this tournament. PJ Tucker is our starting power forward.
I mean, it's gonna be tough. And I saw your boy Kyle Lowry went ahead and withdrew. I don't understand why he thought
2 weeks ago.
Dude, you coming off an NBA championship and you had surgery on your thumb. Go chill.
What are you doing? Yeah, that was stupid.
All right. And you like 32. Go chill.
All right, last one. Ty Lue is signing on to be the Clippers head assistant.
Okay, so that was true. I saw that. Okay.
Yeah. Houston should be kicking themselves in the ass for this. They really should. Because they're gonna have to get rid of Open Gym at some point. They're gonna have to.
Yeah. But with him being assistant, they can still acquire him because Doc Rivers probably not going nowhere.
Yeah, but weren't they in talks to have him as their head assistant?
Yeah. I think I did hear that, you know, in the summer, but I don't know how far it actually went. You know, I probably wouldn't want to go. Well, if you think Mike D'Antoni gonna get fired, then you may want to go in there so you can be the next cat.
I'm on deck at that point. I would have took that job to be on deck. Going to the Clippers, I mean, Doc ain't going nowhere. But that's a good way to get another, you know, title if you can. But maybe they brought him in there thinking he had some LeBron secrets. I don't believe that. So
and then when you look at the Houston situation, maybe he didn't go because I think that whole rumor mill about him possibly joining that staff was before.
Oh, that's right. He's got that deal. Did he get a deal finally? D'Antoni?
Who?
Did he ever get a new deal?
No. I'm just saying before Houston made. They didn't make a trade, did they?
They
made a trade.
Westbrook?
They got Westbrook. Yeah, it was all before the Westbrook thing.
Yeah.
So it was still Harden and Chris Paul.
Yeah.
So, you know, Tyler's probably like, nah, that team not going nowhere. You know, so it could have been that.
Yeah. So we'll see where it goes. That's that. You got anything else? I think I'm good.
I did, but I can't think of it. So no.
I heard your boy threw 5 straight interceptions in practice today. I heard that on the street.
Yeah, he did. Tom Brady threw 4. You know, so it's all good. Hey man,
but that's kind of good though. I was gonna give you shit about it, but I was like, you know what? He's practicing against his own defense. If they sharpen him like that, then maybe that's a good thing. You know,
that could be good for the defense, absolutely. But you know, I hope he plays this week. I think he will. Garoppolo. I need to see him.
You play tomorrow, don't you?
No, we don't play until Sunday.
Okay.
Maybe Monday. Yeah, we got late. We Sunday or Monday this week. We got joint practices may have started today, maybe tomorrow with the Broncos, and that's who we'll play. And again, I think it'll be a good test, depending on how much Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, and them cats play, because again, with two solid ends and the pass rush and the D line that they've got, I want to see how Jimmy, not necessarily how many balls he completes. I want to see how comfortable he is in the pocket with people around the knee. You know what I'm saying? Following around them, things like that. Those are some of the things I'm gonna be looking at. I expected a little bit of rust, coming off the injury or whatever, and he hasn't started a whole lot of games in his career anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested to see him play because I've only been hearing things out of camp and a few clips here and there. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen when he actually gets on the field. So we'll see.
Low key, big season for him as well, because y'all can get off of him this summer with minimal cost, right? If you had to.
Yeah, we can, but we won't.
Yeah.
So I can't see the front office getting rid of him to basically go draft another young guy and start all the way over again. Yeah. So I can't see that.
Yeah. So that's
what's going on. Anything in significantly going on with y'all in camp?
Yeah, they said Cam looked good. Said Curtis Samuel busting ass. He looking like our number one. We played Buffalo Friday, I believe. He's been balling in these little joint practices or whatever. But I like to keep.
So Cam and the receivers looking good. I mean, y'all defense is trash.
Nah. But you know what? They said Samuel will catch a deep ball here and there. But they done tamed Cam. He's checked down Charlie. That's how you keep your percentage up. He'll go deep once or twice. But we feeding McCaffrey. Boy, I was wrong about that one too. McCaffrey has turned out to be something, hasn't he?
I don't think he was. I wouldn't say you were wrong about it. I tell you, we give each other shit about shit when we wrong because we like to brag and boast. I don't think it was that you were wrong. I think you had legit concern.
Yeah.
Because McCaffrey was. Yeah, they say he carried the ball, and he did carry the ball in between the tackles at Stanford. But it's fucking Stanford in the Pac-12.
Yes.
And, he was a smaller cat. So I think the questions were legit, but he's answered those questions.
Yeah.
And
live at this point.
I'm going to stop you there.
If you look at what he's doing as far as the
production,
of the ball,
the production.
With everything he's doing.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't expect him to be able to run the ball between the tackles like that. I didn't expect it. So, and plus, the biggest thing probably happened for him was getting North Turner.
That's true.
What back does not perform under him?
Yeah. So. Let me ask you this though, because he's looking real good right now in these first couple of years. Do you think it's sustainable year after year after year, him taking that beating inside pounding tackles, or do you think that y'all need to maybe get another back to kind of come in as a committee? I like him staying on the field.
I think Young Holyfield's going to get about 10 touches, give or take this year. He looked good the first preseason game, scored 2 touchdowns. But one thing I'll say about McCaffrey, he ain't really took those killer shots yet. He gets down. So he ain't really took none of those yet. So,
he got a little bit of push him down Tony. Warwick Dunn, for y'all, those of y'all don't know who that is. He got a little bit of push him down Tony in him when it comes to being shifty enough to not take direct hits.
Right. So hadn't missed no games. He put on all that muscle this offseason, so he should be better.
That
Speaking
definitely
of muscle, I know we're about to get out of there. Did you see that picture of Porzingis? Bro, he done put on some muscle. They had a picture of him. He looked like Drago from Rocky.
That Russian HGH came from over the water.
Pull up that picture when we off here, bro. He look big.
Now he ain't got too big where it's going to
because his arms are huge.
Affect his game, is it?
I was wondering that, like, you a jump shooter, but he was curling on the picture. I was like, shit. And they put him side by side with Drago.
Okay. well, that's good because he was a slight fella, and he does shoot, but he does like to go to the rim with some authority too. And so that muscle could definitely help him. It could definitely help him.
Absolutely.
All right, man. You graded out good this week, man. You graded out good this week.
That's what's up.
People, again, this is episode 182. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Continue to watch, hit those subscribe buttons on the YouTube platform, Apple iTunes, and the Spreaker Network as well for the podcast version. Uncle Hate, tell the people where to reach you at on social media if they want to chop it up.
At Rike6000, holla at me. I talk sports.
All right. You can find me at Diego Barish on Twitter as well. Don't forget, check out also the Urban Arena Facebook and IG pages. Shout out to Glass and them over at Get With The Sports, Big Boy TV with JB and Big Q over there. Their show is over with. They started at 8. But y'all go check them out on their YouTube channel as well. But
Yes,
again,
sir.
baby, we, Uncle Haight, Diego Barishnikov, we AA Sports, baby. Straight sports, no goddamn chaser. We'll be back with y'all next week for another breakdown of divisions. We may do 2 next week. We'll see how the schedule goes. Yeah, because we getting down toward the end. We got to get this in before the season, starts. So y'all be good. Y'all be easy. We'll holler at y'all next week. Y'all be easy. Peace.